You may have noticed that the stream schedule is non-existent, irregular at best. I just find the time whenever I can, whenever I get a little block, and so yeah, we've got about an hour here. If you recall, yesterday we were providing feedback to our mayor about various things that had happened when we ingested information about Nikoli puzzle types into our puzzle rig inside of our gas town. And so it went through and started making certain changes based on our feedback, um, the kinds of things that we wanted to add to our puzzle type schema, written at sort of the mathematical formalism level, you could say. This is a phrase I made up, but essentially what we're trying to get at is that all of these puzzles have more in common than meets the eye. That they all boil down to some kind of mathematical construct. And if we can find them, then we'll probably find them in the literature on graph theory, computer science, that kind of stuff. And then we should be able to recognize them when they appear in different guises. That's the idea. And the point of that is that if we want to make new games, we need to figure out when we have inadvertently or vertently copied some existing puzzle or puzzle type. And the best test of that is not does it sound the same. Uh, it's not even the best test if it did I say please rip off this entry. It's did we succeed? Did we actually make a game that's isomorphic to another game? All right. So with that, so you can see we're in our scrollback buffer, which is indicated by this uh, little, what color is that? I wanted to say tan at first, but now I'm going for kind of like orange-y. I don't know. Dark orange? It's not dark, it's light, but it's grayish, orangish grayish. Anyway, when we see that, that means that we're in our scrollback buffer in Tmux. And more stuff may be happening, but from the place that we interrupted yesterday, this is as far as we got. Okay, so you can see we got out of scrollback mode. We're going to go back in because we want to see what was happening after we left off. So this is about where it got to, I think. We've got new entries in our puzzle schema. Uh, and this was kind of slow going yesterday, right? Where we were, for each one of these suggestions that it was making, we were trying to get the insight like, if I don't understand this vocabulary, can I learn about it by going and doing this puzzle type? And then going, oh, okay, that's what it's talking about. And some of these puzzles I recognized under a different name, and some of them I didn't. Like this one was brand new to me. Um, this one was new too. I'd seen pencils, but it was a long time ago. And so we went through and we played each of those and tried to figure out um, what's it trying to say about how they are similar or different from other puzzles that we might recognize. And now it's asking us new questions. Um, I think local cardinality clues is good. Um, so this is the first one. Local cardinality clues, it refers to something like Minesweeper type things, where we have a square that has that tells us about how many mines are in the neighborhood, and it's actually counting the number of mines in a particular locale, if you want. And so cardinality is like numbering or counting, and then this is the local part. So there are a number of puzzles that fall into that. I think local cardinality clues is great. Um, yes, Slitherlink should pick this up as a second class. It absolutely has local cardinality clues because Slitherlink is about how many edges around the polygon where the clue is are used in the final solution. Defer the question of which other class to compound with on each affected entry till merge time. Yes. And you can see there's a little bit of repetition here. I guess it was either it has something to do with how we scroll back or something like that. But we saw a couple of copies of the same thing in the conversation. Um, okay, so now let's go back and write our answers. Okay, fine to go with um, thing to antiquarian, local cardinality. I'll use the same nomenclature it does, hyphens and all. Good name for it. Um, yes, it should be applied to Slitherlink in general. We want to whenever when we identify a mechanic class, we should go back to the catalog and see where it applies. I think that's all of the questions, right? All right, I guess while we wait, another thing that we can do is just kind of go through all the catalog and try to, so as a reminder, the formula is following says that we're going to stage things into staging, and then when they're approved, they're going to get promoted into the main catalog. Um, so there are a bunch of Nikoli puzzles here we may not have seen before. And so one fun thing that we could do, perhaps, is go through and see the ones that I am not familiar with. And try an example and get familiar with those puzzle types. That way we'll know if we're merging the ones that need to be merged, get insights into different puzzles, of course, but also, you know, just get familiar with the breadth that's available here because there's just a lot of different puzzles that seem similar at first on the surface, but then you're sort of doing a completely different activity. So I think we did Akari before. I'm just having trouble remembering which one it is. Okay, yeah. Akari is lanterns, basically. And I'll start like, let me do this too while we're at it. I'm going to direct you all to a beautiful website, Simon Tatham's Portable Puzzle Collection. I haven't read the note that's on the top here. Oh, okay, that's from a while ago. It's about building for Mac. But yeah, if you look at this page, you're going to see a whole bunch of puzzles that you can play right in the browser, and they also exist in for Windows, for mobile platforms, that kind of thing. So everything in the personal puzzle collection will run on all of those platforms. And so here, let's compare them for a second. Here's Akari, where place light bulbs in the circle in according to the following rules. The number in the square shows how many lanterns there are, or light bulbs. And then the light bulb covers all of the space that it's in. And so there should be no other light bulb in the path of that second light bulb. Two light bulbs shouldn't be able to see each other. At the end of the puzzle, every single white square is going to be illuminated. I think that is it. Yeah. Okay. And so now compare to light up right here. It's the same. It's the same puzzle. So here is a light up puzzle. Right click to place a dot indicating there's no light in that square. We know there are no lanterns around these zeros. And there have to be lanterns around these three. You can see how nice it is that the sorry, I'm going kind of fast. You can see how nice it is that the UI is lighting up the different squares that each bulb can reach. All right. Everything I've done so far has been really dictated by the lanterns. But if you want to, and another nice thing about this one, you can see full undo. You could undo all the way back to the start. Super cool. So one inference we made here was that there have to be two light bulbs around this too, and two of the squares already are illuminated. So if I put another light bulb there, I'd violate the restriction on not having light bulbs illuminate each other. So it's got to go here. When I look at this two, there's only two empty spots for light bulbs to go. So there they go. This is a new kind of inference you haven't seen before, which is that this square right here, because we can't put a lantern here, it's unreachable by any other lantern, and it has to have one right on there. Similarly, this happens a lot. We need to be able to shoot in between um, a space that otherwise couldn't get it, and so we have to put something on the line that will run through this sort of hallway in between two blocks. Got to go there. And then this is the last one. Yeah, all done. Um, and then obviously you can get a new one. In this one, obviously, that was an easy one, you could say. 14 by 14s are not hard. All of the inferences are going to be equally likely. Here's one that's kind of interesting. If we placed a lantern here, then we're leaving no space for a lantern to go next to this one. So this actually can't be a lantern. You can kind of go on in this manner. Like it said, this wasn't a hard one. This is just a bigger one, right? And so bigger doesn't always mean harder in these class of puzzles. Here we found some that were sort of dead ends that there was no other way to get to. This one is kind of weird, right? It's just one empty square blocked off from everything else. Here with this three, if we put a lantern at any of these corners, it's going to block off two places for a lantern. And so none of these could ever go. And then it so happens that one of them is blocked, so we know where the other three lanterns go. And you can kind of see how this puzzle does one of the things I was talking about, in that it causes the whole board to be important by making this light shoot from this side of the map to that side of the map. And so it links all of these sort of non-local things together, right? By making this mechanic where something is going to update something far away. One way to check if there's no other way to light up this square is to start from this square and look until you hit either the edge of the board or another block. So there's a block in the north direction, the south direction. We hit the edge of the board in the west direction. Then we head east. There's this one place to put a lantern to light up this square, and then we hit the wall. So we've checked everything. When you're going fast and furious, it can be a little hard sometimes to make sure that you've checked all of your bases. I'm clicking on that square, but it's not going. I don't know why. Maybe my VM froze. It doesn't seem. Oh yeah, there we go. I don't know why it should be chugging at this time. Maybe I've just got too much going on here. It says CPU's high on the VM. Again, not really sure why, but and it says it's shooting lots of stuff to disk as well. A gigabyte per second. That doesn't feel great. So maybe we should. I guess we can wait it out. It does well. Mm, it was going down, but then it shot up again. Uh, I'm looking at a different window for these statistics on what the VM is doing. I really don't think that the terminal is the issue, but I suppose that the mayor could be doing something crazy. But yeah, 1500 megabytes per second feels like a lot. It's not really tapering off either. Um, huh. Well, we can hard reboot the VM, and I'm tempted to do that. Although it means we're going to have to kind of reconstruct a lot of what we're doing here. Maybe the antiquarians running in parallel are slamming the disk really fast and hard. That seems unlikely, but uh, maybe. Yeah, it doesn't say it's using a lot of memory, but it does say it's using a lot of disk. Okay, let's pull the plug and then try and figure out. Well, okay, I tried to hit force quit, but it's just not happening. So let's hard reboot the VM. Perhaps some of our work hasn't been preserved, but then we could kind of investigate to see what was going on. Okay. Well, let's return to all right. Let's see what it thought it was doing. I guess another thing that we should be doing. I haven't I've only reserved like 100 gigabytes worth of space, and it shouldn't really need that much more at the moment. Anything that it's doing that needs more disk space, we could perhaps ship it off to some other storage system. Hmm. I'm trying to think about how much of this investigation to do live on camera. We had to kill this. Started to do Okay. I feel slightly more comfortable with it doing this behind the closed door of the um, almost unthinking Control O to expand than I would be like shelling through it myself, which is weird, but welcome to our brave new world, I guess. Hopefully, it didn't have anything to do with Firefox and Simon Tatham's, right? Like this, I don't think that this applet is consuming very much um, memory. We can kind of see here, it's no big deal right now. All right, it did remember our session too, so at least all of that's still here. Interesting little puzzle, this one. It's got a kind of cuteness to it. I don't think I've seen this pattern before. The only way to get to this one is right here. And now the only way to get this one is right here. Right here. Okay. There you go. All right. The old Dolt server hit connection ID about 2.9 million times before crashing, and the new server hit 4,400. Dolt again. Okay. Oh, here I keep trying to scroll the window with mouse wheel, and I need to not do that. Okay. But yeah, Dolt is the technology that we're building Gas City on top of. It is like the you could say the substrate that's being used for beads, a get back database. It does say that there is an outdated Dolt formula. All right. Well, since we crashed, we might as well, yeah, upgrade our stuff. Let's see. We were looking at Akari. I think the next one I saw was like Chain Banana or something like that. What was it? Chained Block is what it was called. And I don't think I've seen this one before. So let's try and do one of these. Okay, chain block. So as if you recall, what we do, we sort of know that there's a solution over here, but we don't care about that. We're going to try and learn the puzzle just based off of the sample and the rules. Let's see here. Consecutive black cells are called a block. The number written on a cell indicates the number of black cells that are in the block. If there's a number with a question mark, you don't know that number. Every block has to contain one number or one question mark. So all of that is set at the beginning. When two or more blocks are in contact at a corner, it is called a chain. All blocks must be part of a chain. A chain cannot contain more than one block of one size and shape. Blocks are considered to have the same shape even if it's the rotated or mirror image. Okay, so that implies, I guess, that okay, I think we have enough to get started. I was using a program called Krita. Yeah. I don't know why it doesn't have an icon. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. So here is Krita, and we'll make a drawing layer. Okay. Now we're painting. We can probably zoom out a bit. All right. I don't need all 10 of those pixels. Okay, so we were told every block is part of a chain. Question marks have unknown size, and in every chain that we're in, um, every one of our blocks needs to connect to a different block by a diagonal. So when a block is full size, then we look for one of its corners to link up with. So like right here, yeah, so right here, for instance, that's funny. Okay, there we go. Right here, for instance, might be an example where they're sort of linking up. Maybe I need something more like yellow, neon. Yeah, so this is part of a chain. This one block is totally complete. A little hard to read. I was using red the other day. I think red is probably more, yeah, universally visible. Maybe not so transparent. Maybe a little darker. Okay. It's not perfect, but I'm liking it okay. I think that we could imply also that um, there can't be two numbers, different numbers in the same block, because then it would have to have both size 1 and size 2. That's not possible. Um, so like this is not going to get filled in, and this is not going to get filled in. This is not going to get filled in. And that's interesting because, and so that was because we can't have a 2 and a 3, or a 2 and a 3, or a 1 and a 2. This guy needs to extend out here. It's the only way that it can extend. So it's just part of this 2 block. And then one of these 2 sides, it's going to extend out either this way or this way, but we don't know yet which one. We have this one block down here. It's complete, and so it needs to extend from its corner. And the only corner that we have available for that is right here. So this has to get filled in. And it's going to be part of the question block. Now the 2 and the question block can't be together either, because they can't have 2 and question mark. Is that true? Every block must contain one number or one question mark, it says in the rules right here. Yes. Um, it doesn't say but not both, but I think that's strongly implied. So let's believe that. And over here, now you might think that we would want to. This is complete, so it is. This is part of a chain. It's part of a chain down here. And you're like, well, are we supposed to connect up these two? I don't think there's anything in the rules that says all the chains have to be connected to each other. Um, let's see. I do think we saw something in the rules, so we have to extend this 3 down here because there's no other place for it to go. We're assuming that we can't put a 3 and a question together because of that rule that we read. And so the 3 ends down here. Now, I don't think that there's a rule about the yeah, I think that's right. I think I know how we're gonna finish this off. So we've got a 2 and a 2 here. If we put this here, then they both be a 5. So there can be nothing to put there. And we can't extend this to make the size wrong. So that would be true on all sides really of these. We can't put a block here because there's no number. And we would violate the rule that every block has to contain either a number or a question mark. So now we're working with the last rule, which is a chain cannot contain more than one block of one size and one shape. So if we stopped now, we'd have this chain that has a 1, a 2, and a 2. That can't be. We can't put this together because this would make a 1 and question mark on one block. And so that leaves us right here. Here we go. And then these obviously can't meet. So we've made a decision about every cell. And yeah, I imagine this is what their solution looks like. With the new blocks are going to be at line 2, 1 and 3. So skip 1, 3, skip 2, 5, 3, 5. Skip 1, 3, skip 2, 5, 3, 5. Yep, that's their solution. All right, let's see how the mayor is doing. Okay, let's learn what it's telling us. An out of memory driven page cache flush storm. So 15 minutes ago, the out of memory killer filed. With no swap, the kernel can't push anonymous memory anywhere. Yeah, I think we should definitely add swap. So swap being space that is on the disk that can be used in the place of RAM. Why don't you do 8 GB? Um, I just upgraded Dole. Curious if that will help. Maybe we can make a reminder to revisit this. In a week and see if it's still happening. Okay. All right. I'm gonna just do this and allocate 8 gigabytes for a swap file. Make it read and writable by me. Make swap on that swap file. Swap on that swap file. And then show that we have got it working. Cool. Yes. Yeah. Go ahead and edit that. That template. I ran the swap making command, and it looks like it worked. You can verify it. I forget to say. Yeah, it did indeed. I think this idea of like which things need cognition, it's definitely an important element of what we're doing here because cognition is expensive. It's probably the most expensive thing that this computer can do, and we would like to take high cognition tasks, novel, experimental, research kind of things, and find the patterns in them and boil them down to procedures and routine, and finally deterministic tools that are extremely cheap. I think there's nothing as cheap as, you know, running some math on the CPU. Depending on what kind of math you're doing, obviously, but um, for something like this that we're talking about, like it involves a lot of reading. I think that the other thing that certainly I wouldn't be able to bring to the table if I were doing this is like, can I make linkages between the games and the existing literature and bring them together into a judgment about what kind of underlying mathematical structure the game has? Um, Maybe that's something that I could learn in time. Maybe it would be fun for me. Um, but we're sort of trying to contract that out to this agent. And so we have control over how hard that agent is working by how much effort is putting toward that task. And you're like, well, if I have a sort of average grad student, is that fine? Or do I need a PhD level professor aimed at this problem? Mm, it's trying to figure out how to make it run stupider. I don't know offhand, but let's look at what we do know. Okay, now that we're sort of done with that, okay, here is the agent configuration. We have lots of agents. Here's our antiquarian prompt template, and here is the agent Tommel. I would actually assume it would be here. Um, and let's see here. Rep of GC. Um, we have a. I guess we should go update our fork. Let's update our fork before we tell it to go look at our fork. um, yeah. I was keeping up with this really hard when I was trying to sort of use Gas City to update Gas City. um, all right, but now that we're trying to use Gas City to do something else, um, we have a. Yeah, let's not truck in further lies. Let's make sure that the ground has been prepared before we send it over there. So we'll get those 100 or whatever commits that we just synced off of the main. Okay, so that should be everything. Okay, we have a copy of the Gas City code at Gas City. Warning, it may be more up to date than the running instance. So there could be minor differences. Okay, so it this sort of constant relearning of Gas City, it sort of implies that we should have an agent that has been delegated to, be the expert on Gas City internals. That the mayor should ask it, hey, tell me how to do this thing. Okay, but it found it. I don't think that it had to work super hard to do this. Now, normally before making this kind of change, we would, benchmark and do some performance comparisons. Yeah. Um, let's consider let's consider setting up an agent for you to talk to about Gas City. That seems more general than remembering one fact. What if we had an agent that thoroughly understood the code base up to a point and kept track of learnings when queried, sort of like a latest, like an LRQ hash for the facts that were asked for. Kept track of learnings when queried? Question mark. We might be able to build on our learnings and repeating them. I said this up to a point because of this outdated issue that I noticed, right? I feel like if the agent is like, oh yeah, I've got everything all the way up to a certain commit, and then, okay, it's new, there's a new commit. Ah, making note writing a hard step seems like something we could write a formula to do. Write a formula to do. That way, this step would be backed by a bead and need to be closed by the agent to finish this workflow. Do you think we can write? Do you think we can write such a formula? See, it doesn't remember that in previous sessions we wrote other formulas about our game stuff. And so sort of remembering, oh yeah, formulas are this and this and this. Not that it's good. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We could also certainly, so yes, and we could also certainly add tools and that automate parts of this workflow. Getting the getting or vetting the commit hash, looking back at the structure. The thing I think can't be automated is the cognition judgment part. But we can make sure that it looks right. See, I'd like to do this every time, right? This is something that I might be like, if we need an expertise and it doesn't, okay, we're going to make the agent, the workflow, certain tools, and the curated notes file. All right, feel free. Yeah, it's a little weird to me that we're down at this level, sort of building up our city from the things that we need to build up our city. uh, I don't know. It's not that it's wrong, but it does feel like we're starting from a fairly low level. Like, doesn't every city need an expert on how to update and maintain the city? uh, I would think that the mayor would just always have to know that. But it turns out that we have to provide the staff and define the staff a little bit before it can start doing this for itself potentially. I guess there's something about discoverability as well, right? Like, if the mayor had tried to discover what are the agents that are available to me in this city, what are the workflows that are available, then I might have looked at one of those workflows for the example instead of going to some random uh, formula that's already shipped with Gas City. Mm-hmm. It made a couple of tools. That's great. Here, I'm going to talk to somebody for a second. Be right back. All right, you probably got to see this before me. Okay, there's a GC oracle. We've got a formula. Sure. Hmm. How to sling. Oh. So we have to be slightly smarter than the mayor. All right. Agent nudges him now. See, I sort of feel like it should know this. I guess this is what we paid for. Let's see it working. Okay. It looks like it created an issue, and then it asked this workflow to go through and answer that issue. Sort of interpreting a little bit, but hmm. Now it's created an agent to answer this task. The reconciler auto-spawned a pool one. Right. That's sort of what I expected. If you sling work out to a certain type of agent, then that agent will arise. I think it's trying to watch it work, but it's funny how this oracle might help it debug this problem of creating this oracle. Okay, while it cooks over here, all right. We were looking at chained block. I think the next one. Let's see. Choco banana, huh? Don't know if I recognize this one yet, just from the name. Paint some of the cells black. Black cells linked vertically and horizontally must make a rectangular square. Check. White unpainted cells linked vertically and horizontally must not form a rectangle or square. A number indicates the number of cells of the area containing the cell. Ah, that's interesting. So it could be black or white in the final solution. We're going to have to do something for every number. All right. Well, I'm looking at there, so trying to interpret some of the rules. Just because something has a 1 on it doesn't mean that it is going to be white. Ah, okay. Actually, it has to be black, and the reason why is that since the region can only have one square in it, and one square does form a rectangle or square, um, if you left it white, then and it was a region of 1, then it would form a rectangle or square, and we can't have white rectangle or square regions. All right, okay. I think we've got enough to get started here. And we can probably, you know, if we take off our paint layer, right? Here we go. We can say both of these things, and we can make our solution appear. I don't know what a critter file is. I haven't been that um, fascinated by it. It's a craw file. All right, no problem. Let's do our choco banana here, though. Okay, so as mentioned, um, black cells have to form a rectangle, and white cells can't form a rectangle. So this can't be white. It has to be black. And not only that, but this one has to be black. And then we've definitely got to stay white here, and here, here. White, 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 and white. Okay, the next thing we know about white is that we can't make square white regions. So if 4 were black, then this would be a square white region. So it can't be, it's white. And now we have 4 white together with a 4 in them. So this has to be a completed region. That actually means there can be no white around it. So this all has to be filled in. So we can see that this 6 region has to be black. It has to be a rectangle, and that means that it needs to either be 1 by 6, 2 by 3, or they're reverse in the other directions. It's already 3 wide. It can't get to 6. So here we go. White. So I think these are all safe inferences according to the rules. And since we've got our 6, then we've got so. Recall the rule that we cannot have a white rectangular region, and if we put a black here, then that would happen. So we can't put a black there, it has to be white. There we go. Now, finally, we're looking at this white rectangular region. Can't be. Still a white rectangle. We have to come all the way up to here at least. There. This is a white rectangle. If we put a white dot on this, then we'll have a massive region that's not 2 at all. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we can't put a white dot here. Gotta be black. But there need to be 2 in this region. We gotta keep going. It's our only other possibility. And finally, we've got this 2 by 1 region that's black. If we put black up here, it would be 3. Can't do. And there you go. That's our solution. Choco banana. That's interesting. I don't remember. Did I put a layer on there? Did I just draw? Looks like I just drew on the background. Um, it was complaining about that before. I thought I had to put a paint layer on before I could start doing that stuff. Okay, how did this guy go? Okay, it was working on slinging appropriately. Razzle dazzling. It is effort medium. The antiquarian did effort low. Great. One question I have about GC Oracle. How do you know how to use it? In general, when do you discover which agents you have available to offload some of your work to subject matter experts? When do you think to use them? Because it's useless to set up an expert if you never call them on the phone. Just continuing through. is an agent's registry MD with the specialists. What if there were an agent who knew about the other agents? Similarly to the antiquarian, they could, their job, perhaps regularly scheduled, would be to maintain the yellow pages of the city. I think there is a Gas City jargon term for scheduling formulas. You could ask the Oracle about that. I think it would be generally useful for you to ask before starting work whether we already have an expert in that arena. That might be a good thing to add to your maybe that's a formula for you. Something to put in the prompt. Concierge is great. DC order, yeah. I think that prompting is on good intentions. All formulas at least provide a mechanical stuff that can't be activated. But think about which is most likely to be reliable. Yeah. Well, I think I might need to take off soon. And it's funny, I think, isn't it, how we started working on our gaming. We got into an infrastructure issue with Dolt potentially, uh, and then we added some swap. And now we're coming back up to sort of try and before we can get our work done, we have to sort of design our company. Cool. Huh. That's really interesting. I didn't think of the mayor as not working from formulas and molecules. Um, Half my actual work is conversational, and no bead exists. Yeah, broad agreement with what you're saying. Um, I might see a path where when I notice that we're talking our way into some work, I often say something like, create a bead structure for this project so we can track progress. And I can instead oh, maybe I would say, um, run your run your work dispatching. Run your work dispatching formula on this project. Something to that effect. That way you don't have to remember the steps to do to initiate this work. to generally initiate work or farm it out to other agents. It will just be codified in this workflow. Okay, I think that's about time to go. I guess we'll see what they say after we get back. So good to see you again.